About a 70-point drop on the Nifty. The Bank Nifty is trying to stabilize, but still about 500 points lower. So let's see how this goes because we still have half an hour of trade left. Raunak Onkar, co-fund manager, equity and head of research at PPFAS Mutual Fund, now joins in. Raunak, first and foremost, congratulations to all of you, the entire team at PPFAS, for that milestone of 10 years, right? And must say thank you for those little, sweets and the chocolates that you sent all of us here at CNBC-TV18. Appreciate you spelling out, of course, all of your themes as you always do on our shows. Now, with that, I just want to straight away hit the ground running with the one stock that became really controversial in between, and it is in your portfolio. And I'm talking about IEX, right? We saw the 20% decline and the whole debate about whether the business model itself is getting questioned with these new norms that are being proposed. Your thoughts?
Thank you, Surabhi, for the wishes, and thanks for having me back. So with IEX in our portfolio, which is the flexi cap scheme, it's about less than 2% of the position. IEX has an interesting history. It is actually a monopoly power exchange with bulk of the volumes going on IEX. And interestingly, the regulators have been trying to bring in some competition, make sure that there is not monopolistic pricing, or even create a deeper ecosystem of power exchanges in our country. And this is nothing new. This happens across many countries. It's already played out in Europe in a way. And the consultation paper which people refer to regarding the market dispatch mechanisms or volume pooling, that has been around in discussion for a very long time. So, of course, it may affect in the short term a company like IEX if the implementation happens. But right now, we are still at the discussion stage. I don't think there is anything concrete that is out there. And there are a lot of possibilities in the air, but to really distill into a probability of what is actually going to happen with a high degree of confidence, that we don't know of right now. Although the business model is very interesting, monopoly status is there, network effect is there for a company like IEX, and it remains to be seen how that extends when new regulations come in. And if you see the history of the power exchanges, I don't think there is a standard line we can draw that if this happened here, it happens in India as well. Because every country, every continent has gone through its own evolution of how these exchanges have to be created. But that said, if you have a renewable power coming into the grid, and if you need to make sure that renewable becomes a larger part of the power, then you need to have shorter term contracts and you need to move away from some of these longer term power purchase agreements that we have been used to because we are using thermal coal over a period of time. So it's a long runway for a company and even the country in terms of power dealing on the exchanges. And it remains to be seen how it affects in the long run. I think we are more worried about the longer term rather than the shorter term changes in how the exchanges are run.
Right. Raunak, sorry, you own IEX in your portfolio?
We do own. We own about less than 2% in the flexi cap and less than 1% in tax saver.
And you're staying put, basically, as far as I can tell, right?
Yeah.
No changes to that. No, got that. There are some flashes at the bottom of the screen which we'll address with our reporter in a bit from now. So sources tell us that the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has initiated investigations against Hero MotoCorp. So more details. DG investigation under the MCA has taken cognizance of income tax probe to initiate action. But the underlying matter is something which we will get to in just a bit from now. So Hero MotoCorp on your screen, I think it is reacting with a 2.5% cut coming through. So that is Hero MotoCorp. But as I said, we'll have more details about what the matter is with our reporter in a bit from now. There are more details being put out as we speak. Raunak, let's just, you heard Deepak Shenoy was with us a little earlier. And I'm generally in conversations with a lot of people who've done well with mid caps and small caps. Two lines of thought. One is that you just stay put. The ride, perhaps, as Deepak was pointing out, will get faster, if anything, from here. And there's another line which says maybe, time to book some profits. I don't know if you have a view.
It's hard to know how fast it will be or which direction it will go in. So if you look at what we are doing, we are investing in the companies we already like, which are in the portfolio. We are adding to those. We haven't added anything new meaningfully in any of our schemes. In both our schemes, equity schemes, we are on about 16 to 18% in cash. So these are basically residual cash holdings which can be deployed if something attractive shows up on our radar. But at the moment, valuations are stretched across many sectors. And I don't think there is very, very attractive ideas out there right now. But yeah, let's see how the market plays out.
Okay. Fair enough. Got that. Now, let's just address that Hero MotoCorp story. My colleague Timsy is joining us right now on the phone line. Timsy, tell us, what is this matter all about?
Well, the matter pertains to an investigation order that has been issued by DG Investigations under the aegis of Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Now, this comes after the Income Tax Department taking action against Hero MotoCorp. And since we understand that there is a MOU between all investigative agencies for exchange of information, taking cognizance under that MOU, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, under public interest. There are two sections under which investigation orders, books investigation has been ordered by DG Investigation. This is under Section 2161C and Section 210 of the Companies Act, under which investigations have been ordered against Hero MotoCorp. Let's see now what happens is Hero MotoCorp will have to answer the questions that Ministry of Corporate Affairs will raise on their books of accounts regarding beneficial ownership of shares, etc. That's what these sections pertain to. Let's see what happens finally, because now a detailed inspection of books, accounts, shareholding, etc. will be undertaken by Ministry of Corporate Affairs.
Okay, got that, Timsy. I'm just reading out here some details that our colleague Parikshit has also shared with us. Section 216 of the Companies Act is investigation of ownership of the company who have or had beneficial interest in shares of a company who have been beneficial owners. Okay, markets are really sitting up and taking note of this. Timsy, just to understand, you said that this is a separate investigation that the Corporate Affairs Ministry has started. The income tax investigation, has that concluded? I mean, is there any correlation, or are these two parallel events that we're talking about?
Because only on the basis of IT department, because that was the first investigative agency that took action against Hero MotoCorp. Their investigations are still underway, and not to forget that under exchange of information between various government agencies, that is where exactly MCA has come into picture. And now MCA will take a separate investigation, which will be under these two sections. Section 210 is where it empowers DG Investigation to initiate investigation and issue orders. And then Section 2161C. 1C is under public interest. That is where beneficial ownership comes into picture. And they say that since the company is public listed, that is where public interest is there of beneficial ownership of shares. And under these two sections is what the investigation will now begin. Later on, if in case they feel that there are further sections that need to be invoked of the Companies Act, DG Investigation has the power and the mandate to invoke those sections.
Sure,
but yes,
sure.
As of now, a preliminary investigation order has been issued. We understand from sources that these orders were issued on 5th of June. When we sent a query to Ministry of Corporate Affairs, formally, they did not respond because that is something that normally these agencies, they don't answer queries formally because these are investigative matters and under law they are not allowed to share information. So all this is source-based exclusive information that we are getting. That 5th of June, orders were given to the company. Now the company has to get back to Ministry of Corporate Affairs, answering their questions, allowing them to inspect their books.
Absolutely, Timsy, for the benefit, Timsy, for the benefit of our viewers, I just also want to place on record the statement of the company is already on the screen as well. So let's also keep that in context. Hero Moto is saying we have not received any communication with this regard and hence cannot comment on the content of queries. We will provide all information if and when it is sought from us by any regulatory authority. So, Prashant, the company is saying, well, they've not received any of this, any of these queries, I guess, as of now at least.
Absolutely. Raunak is still with us. Raunak, thanks for waiting. Sorry, just to go back to what we were discussing earlier, right? I mean, you said you're sitting with about 15-16% of cash. Is that?
Yeah,
is that? I mean, compared to the industry average, that is very high. But compared to your own kind of track record, is that at the high end?
I would say it's somewhere in the middle. So when the last mid-cap and small-cap rally happened somewhere in 2017-18, we went as high as about 30% in cash. So this will be somewhere in the median.
Okay. 30% cash. I mean, you guys stand out, as compared to what you do and how you do it. Just, Raunak, just a quick word. You said you're not buying anything new. You're adding into what you already have. But where, what names there, most specifically, most aggressively?
So not aggressively, just incrementally adding to the banks, the private sector banks we own, some of the IT companies that we own. Just these two areas where we find the valuations are still reasonable to add more.
Private banks and?
IT services.
IT services. Okay, got that. Fair enough. We'll leave it there, Raunak. Short conversation today, shorter than usual. Appreciate you joining in and taking us through what you're doing out there. We'll take a quick break here. As always, we get you WhatsApp.